Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week, 10 days. In today's video, it's going to take us to around the 15th of May. So we're going to go into the middle of the month with this update. And very little change on the update, but I think it's on Tuesday. Really looks like we're going to have quite a warm spell coming up with winds in from the east and the southeast. This could go on for quite a while, actually. The GFS sort of flirted with the idea of trying to bring down some colder air or cooler air later next week. But whether that comes off, I'm not sure. It's not greatly supported by the GFS Ensemble. So I'll show the situation in a second. Before I get on with that, though, just very quickly say about the ads. There's links to articles on all the page. Just have a browse through widgets and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. Thanks so much for doing that. This video adds to most of the page. You say open up the content when you watch them and close back up again. It helps to pay for gaswebvids.com. Just say later on this afternoon, I'll have a storm watch update. We've got some thunderstorms coming up over the weekend and stuff next week. Have a look at the possibilities with that in this afternoon's update. It'll probably be around 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that. It's early days on that, but we'll just have a bit of a look and see where the models are trending in terms of storm risk. Right, let's get on with the first video, the week to 10 day update. And these are 500 millibar high dominance. Got the ECWF here on the top. The GFS is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet is an area in the atmosphere with high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by jet stream running above. Yellow and red and orange, that's high pressure, blue to low pressure. So what we see with the ECWF is that we've got a ridge across the north of the country. The Atlantic is rather blocked off. The trough is over towards the south of Greenland. And there's also a bit of a cut-off trough which is fading down across Spain and Portugal. So this takes us up to around the middle of May. What the jet stream is doing is rather like that. So it's quite a complicated and odd-looking jet stream pattern, but it's broadly similar to what we've got now, really, and it is going to be bringing up some fairly warm air, I would think, from the east or the southeast. The flow will be going something like that. So it's a bit of a complicated one, but it implies the driest conditions likely in the northwest, the wettest conditions in the south and the southeast, and fairly warm as well, I would have thought. The GFS is very similar. That's the ECWF, of course, it's GFS, and again we see that area with above average heights to the north. It's more centred over Scandinavia. It does connect towards another ridge to the west of the island. Again, the Atlantic is rather blocked off. So again, the jet stream going something like that, and odd looking chart again, but the upshot is generally, I would think, quite warm, and the flow coming in probably from an east or southeasterly type direction. So have a look at those GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles. Deal with temperatures first of all. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average. We're well above average now. We're going to stay that way for the rest of the week and into weekend and start of next week. These are the dates on the bottom of the chart, of course. So that's a situation for the coming week to 10 days. After that, we do have some members of the ensemble dropping down towards negative territory, but they are kind of outliers, really. And the overall idea is to keep things generally above average here going through into the second part of the month, actually. So go right to the end of the ensemble graph, which is over here. You notice that the white line, which is the trend line of all members of the ensemble, get together and you create a trend line, which is this white line just here. That generally stays above average throughout, above that thick red line. So whilst we do have these cooler members creeping through for later next week, and some of them are quite significantly colder as well, they are outliers at the moment. It looks like the general trend of the ensemble is actually keeping above average. A lot of dry weather coming up through the rest of this week and inside of the weekend. After that, though, the rainfall spikes do come back, and that stays with us into next week. I think there will be the risk of thundery showers and thunderstorms over the weekend, particularly later in the weekend and through into the start of next week. We'll have a look at that on Stormwatch. Here's a temperature anomaly for the coming week. It's going from Thursday the 5th through to Friday the 13th of May. Generally above average, as it is through most of Europe as well. The precipitation anomaly looks a bit patchy. In the north and east, it's generally a bit drier than average. South and west perhaps seem to be a little bit wetter than average. But overall, I think probably going more towards the drier than average side of things. Of course, this factors in the next 2 or 3 days, which are going to be very dry. And then the risk of thundery showers and thunderstorms increases later in the weekend and into next week. So this will probably trend wetter, I would have thought, over the next couple of days. Here's the generic charts then. And for Monday, we've got high pressure in across Scandinavia and stretched out to the North of Iceland into green, with this area of low pressure down across Spain and Portugal. The flow's up from the south-southwest. It's a warm flow, but it could be bringing thundery showers with it. Everything goes very slack as we go into the middle part of next week. There's some sort of thundery low pressure there to the south of the country, possibly bringing some more longer spells of rain, maybe some thunderstorms in towards the south around the middle part of the week. But overall, same idea really, which is high pressure to the north and the east, low pressure out to the south and the west. And then we get through in towards Thursday and on into Friday. It all looks very messy, but again, the idea is that high pressure is still more or less to the north and east. These areas of low pressure trying to come in from the Atlantic, but being blocked to some degree. And then as we go through beyond that, and we run up towards day 10, again, it's a very complicated picture. What's essentially happening, though, is that still we've got this ridge here up to the north and the east of the country. We've still got these areas of low pressure in the Atlantic trying to break through, but really being blocked. Going something like that, I think, into the southeast parts of Europe. We've also got pressure rising across the Azores and towards Spain and Portugal. So this really is a very complicated picture. May is often quite a difficult month to forecast. I'm not sure why it is. It's because the Atlantic is so weak, I think, at this time of the year. We're losing the gradient between the tropics and the pole that we have in the winter that drives the westerlies. And it's often quite a difficult time to forecast in May. And these are very complicated weather patterns. But I think the general idea for next week is probably thundery showers to start off with, then something a bit drier. But whether it ever turns all that much cooler next week, I'm not sure. It could well be. Actually, it's quite a warm week. Have a look at the east end of the earth again. Very similar for Monday. Here's that southerly southeasterly flow bringing thundery showers into the south and the west. That continues into Tuesday. Wednesday, it's all going very slack, but we've still got this ridge up across Scandinavia. We've still got the main low down towards the Algarve, and the flow is still doing something like that. But it all looks very, very slack there. I think there's a risk of thundery showers at the very least in the south. Continues into Thursday, and then go through to Friday the 13th, and it's all looking rather odd. Again, I think there's probably still showers or maybe thunderstorms going on here. A lot of high pressure to the north, and then just this flabby low, really, that's sitting across central western parts of Europe, I would think, producing thundery showers at least. By day 10, we're starting to find ridging taking place from the Azores going up towards Scandinavia. So it's all getting a little bit more simplified by day 10, which is that the ridge is building from the Atlantic up to this ridge over Scandinavia as the low pressure is down across the south and the east of Europe. I think that's probably settling things down there up towards day 10. But it is a very, very complicated weather pattern, this, for the next week to 10 days. What we can say is that over the weekend, it's going to be very warm. We're going to have thundery showers moving up from the southwest. Into next week, we probably keep those warm temperatures. Not as warm as at the weekend. It probably stays warmer than average into next week. Still with risk of thundery showers, particularly in the south. And then from the middle part of next week, the patterns get very, very complicated. But I would think overall temperatures look like they're going to try and hold up through much of next week above average. And still probably with a risk of thundery showers through the middle part of the week, maybe fading as high pressure tries to build as we get through to the end of the week. But if you're struggling to follow this one, I'm struggling as well because the patterns are very, very complicated. So it's just going to be a case of trying to keep you posted on developments. But it generally looks quite warm, I think, up towards the middle part of the month. That's the latest idea anyway. Later on today, we'll have a look at Stormwatch, see what the storm potential is over the weekend and start of next week. So come back for that on Stormwatch later on. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.